Hello, Pastor Chris Wilson here from St. Andrew Christian Church, here to talk about the sermon this coming Sunday in worship. We are continuing a sermon series that started last week entitled The Progressive Journey of Faith, the Living Values of St. Andrew Christian Church. Last week, in the first week, we looked at the theme of refugees being welcome. And this week, we look at the important message of Black Lives Matter. St. Andrew Christian Church has been about the work of racial justice for many years. But I would say that in May of 2020, at the killing of George Floyd, that this church took on a more intentional approach to racial justice in ways that the church had not done before. Part of that work was doing a lot of listening and paying attention to voices that are leading the way in racial justice. This church has done a fair amount of education of ourselves and of the racial history that is within our country and in our local community. I'm proud of some of the work our church has done. And in January of 2021, we had almost 65 people in our church participate in an anti-racism, pro-reconciling training. And it's only the tip of the iceberg. A predominantly white church that we are, we're a church of power and privilege. We've had it pretty good. But Black Lives Matter means that race is an important component of our identity in the church, in our community, in our country, and in our world. To say Black Lives Matter is not just a phrase, not just something we say. It says we are committed to the work of racial justice from here on out. Not for the day, not for the season, not just for the times when it seems like this is the time we need to make a stand. Black Lives Matter tells us that the racial justice that must go on is work that has never fully been accomplished. We can look back over several decades and say, didn't we accomplish some things? But if we're honest, we have over 400 years of shame, abuse, misuse of power, misuse of positions and privilege, taking advantage of other people. This week, I'll explore 3 passages of Scripture, one from Luke and 2 from Matthew, where Jesus points out particularities within humanity. The particularities of people become extremely important. Some people want to say all lives matter. And when you say all lives matter, you are dismissing the particularities of history and people and the significance of the createdness of each person and what they bring to the beauty of God's tapestry on this earth. And so we'll look at those 3 passages and how those particularities, how Jesus names and claims experiences, reinforces the work of Black Lives Matter, reinforces the work of racial justice, reinforces the work of all Black and Indigenous people of color all across this country. St. Andrew Christian Church is a progressive church, and we are a church that is to listen, to lead, to educate, to act, and to do so consistently with the values that are embedded in our Judeo-Christian history, in our scriptures. And we use our hearts, our minds, our souls that calls us forward to stand with those and to walk with those until racial injustice and equity really comes about. We have a long way to go. The journey has started for us. It's nowhere near its end. And so here we are. We say Black Lives Matter, but we have to do more than just say it. We have to live it. I hope you'll join us on Sunday as we continue our series of the progressive journey of faith.